Hey mate, before you enjoy today's episode, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about the free 14-day transformation that we are currently running inside of the Unbreakable Man team. Now, if you're a man on the Gold Coast who's serious about improving his physical and mental health, building his self-confidence, and you want to become a part of a team of motivated and like-minded men, then this is the best chance that you are going to get. So as part of the 14-day transformation, you're going to get a personalized meal plan and a recipe cookbook to help you get your diet under control. You're going to be training with myself and the Unbreakable Man team for 2 whole weeks, and I'll be there by your side, helping you overcome any of the challenges that you will face along the way. If that sounds good, then get in touch with me by emailing me at mitch@unbreakableman.com.au. You can find all of my contact details on the website, which is just www.unbreakableman.com.au. Or you can message me on social media. Instagram is unbreakableman_challenge, and Facebook is just Unbreakable Man. That sounds good to you? Hit me up. I hope to hear from you soon. Back to the episode. Make time for those experiences, guys. Absolutely crucial. You only have a finite amount of time to do these things. One day, it's over. And that day might be well before the day that your life actually ends. So then you have to live with knowing that you missed your chance. Don't allow that to happen for yourself. Hey mate, I'm Coach Mitch and welcome to the Unbreakable Man podcast. It's my goal to help you achieve excellent results in the area of your health and physical fitness, your career or business, your relationships, and in your own personal passions. This is going to be your one-stop shop if you are the kind of man who wants to achieve his fullest potential in life. And the only way to do that is by becoming unbreakable. Hey guys, Coach Mitch here, and welcome to this week's episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I last did one of these. I've been on a trip to Japan recently, and it was an absolutely amazing place. And that trip is going to be part of the theme of today's episode as well. And there's 2 main points that I wanted to share with you today. And in some ways, they are kind of opposing points. However, at the same time, they're still linked. So, just got back from my trip to Japan last week. Absolutely amazing place. If you've never been to Japan and you've thought about going, stop thinking about it and create a plan and set it in motion. It's an absolutely beautiful place to go. The country itself, the people, the culture. If you can, go during the snow season because skiing and snowboarding is some of the best fun that I think you can have. And it's just got that whole winter wonderland kind of look to it. Like if you're, I'm recording this on the Gold Coast of Australia. If you're also on the Gold Coast or in Australia and you've never seen snow before, this is everything that you've seen on Christmas movies. It's exactly like that. The snow on the trees, the banks of snow on the side of the roads that people have to shovel out of the way, the snow on the rooftops, snowmen, snow angels. It's awesome. Absolutely loved it. I can't wait to go back. I had a fantastic time. And that leads me into the first point that I wanted to make. And it goes back to something that I've spoken about many times on this podcast, and that is that life is very short. Life is very short, and we only have a finite amount of time to do only a finite amount of things. And it's up to us to decide how much we get out of the time that we're here and what of those finite things we choose to do. I think a lot about what it's going to be like at the end of my life. And I know, and that might not be a typical thought process for yourself, and that's okay. But I think a lot about what it would be like, when I'm 80, 90, maybe 100 if I get there. And I'm sort of at that point where most of my life is lived. And a lot of what I'm able to do at that point is just reminisce on the good times, reminisce on the challenges, reminisce on the experiences, the people I met, the things that I saw. And I really believe that it's important to take that old version of yourself into account as you're living your life. And one of the best ways I could explain this to you as to why that's so important is because let's say you go to the movies and you watch the movie and it's exciting. You know, it really keeps you on the edge of your seat all the way through the beginning and the middle of the movie. And then the end of the movie kind of left you feeling confused and uncertain, and it just sort of let you down at the end. You walk away from that movie feeling a little bit about it, even though you're enjoying the first 2/3 of it. If the last third of it sucked, if the ending wasn't right, then the movie was a crap movie in our minds. Whereas if you go to the movies and something starts off a little slower, you know, in the middle it's maybe not as nail-bitingly exciting, but the end of it was just fantastic. Like, it just ended really well, you know, whether it just tied everything together nicely or, you know, really got you thinking or something like that. You walk away thinking that was a great movie. Even though you maybe weren't as engaged and as excited for as long as you were in the first movie, because the ending made sense and brought the whole thing together, we feel like that was a great movie. And I think our lives are very similar, yet we spend very little time thinking about what it's going to be like at the end, preparing ourselves to make sure that the end of the story is not just positive, but just wrapped it all up really nicely. And you have that sense of satisfaction with how your life looked. So I think it's important to consider the end. And then in considering the end, it gives you a bit more clarity, more focus and motivation to make sure that the beginning, and even more so the middle of it, because that's where you're going to spend most of your time, is as productive and engaging and hopefully positive as possible. Making sure you don't miss out on experiences. You know, going to Japan and snowboarding was an experience. And when we get to the end of our lives, all we really have is not going to be the things around us, like the physical items we've managed to collect. It's going to be the bank of memories that we've been able to collect. And how good they were, that's what's going to matter to us the most, I believe. And a lot of these things, we don't have our whole lives to make a decision on. We have to choose fairly quickly. Now, I was speaking to a friend of mine, Mick, the other day. This is the fellow that puts my website together and creates my merchandise and stuff like that. And he's 60, and he looks great for 60. This guy's in phenomenal shape. You'd think he was 45. However, he's 60, and he wants to go and do a motorcycle tour of India. And we were speaking about it briefly yesterday. And at 60 years old, it's getting towards the end of the window where it's going to be possible for Mick to go and do this. You know, 10 years down the track, he's 70. It might not even be possible anymore. He might not have the fitness or the coordination or the speed that he needs to go and do that and do it safely. So if he doesn't do it this year, next year, maybe the year after that, it's starting to really get away from him, and he might never have another chance again. You know, and right now, when you're in the moment, missing out on those things may not seem like it was that important to you because you have problems to solve today. However, you get to the end of your life, you're 80, you know, your movement's impaired and there's not as much opportunity for you to do things anymore. You're going to look back and go, I could have done that. I could have had that experience. I could have known what that was like. And because of fear, most likely, fear, but we'll call it procrastination because it makes us feel better, because we were busy, in the air quotes there for people who are just listening to this. And we just chose not to take action. We look back and we regret that stuff. And I don't ever want to do that. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, the first major point I'm trying to make is have those experiences, prioritize those experiences. Now, look, I'm not saying that you need to go all the way to Japan to go and have those experiences. I'm saying that those things that you've dreamt about doing, those things that you think would be really cool to go and do, don't just have them be a pie in the sky dream. Write them down and ask yourself, how can I make that happen? And what's the time frame on this? Maybe it's 2 years from now before you can go and have this trip or do this thing, whatever it is. Maybe it's 24 months worth of prep to save the money or whatever it might be. If that's the case, then start now and you can do the thing in 24 months. You can have that. You can know what it feels like, have that experience, and you'll carry that thing in your mind for the rest of your life. You'll always be able to look back on that. And what you learn from it as well, you'll be able to put into new things moving forwards and even share with other people. Share your passion for this experience with other people and maybe have a big impact on someone else's life. Make time for those experiences, guys. Absolutely crucial. You only have a finite amount of time to do these things. One day, it's over. And that day might be well before the day that your life actually ends. So then you have to live with knowing that you missed your chance. Don't allow that to happen for yourself. That's point number one. The second thing that I wanted to say that I'm always really grateful for when I come back from a trip is I'm excited to go on my trip, and I'm always excited to come home as well. And that is something that I feel very fortunate about, because I know a lot of dudes, they wait all year to go on their big family holiday. They can't wait for it. It's time to just put down the phone and not look at emails or deal with any work stuff. And it's just time to relax, enjoy what time they have with their family in a cool place, wherever it might be. And then once the trip is over, they know they're coming home to a inbox full of emails and problems and shit they're not looking forward to. I consider myself very fortunate that when I get home from these things, I actually am looking forward to getting home just as much as I was looking forward to getting away. Because right here, at home, in my life, my actual life, not the kind of fairy tale world of holiday, I have things that I really care about, things that I'm working on, things I'm excited for, things I'm motivated to do, things that make me feel good. And they're not all easy things. It's not snowboarding down a slope without a care in the world. It's not sitting by a beach sipping cocktails. It's not that kind of stuff at all. It's hard, difficult challenges I'm trying to deal with. But every single one of them matters to me. And the outcome matters to me. And becoming the kind of man that can create the outcome matters to me. And that's what I get to come home to, is a life of meaning. And it doesn't mean it's easy. It just means that it's something I'm looking forward to, because, it gives me meaning and purpose. So the second point I'm really trying to make in this episode, guys, is that have those holidays, have those experiences, go and live your life and have those kind of one-off things you might do throughout the year, or every 6 months or every 2 years, whatever the time frame is. Go and do those things. They're super important. But what might be even more important than that is making sure that your average day is something that you really love. Not your best day. Your best, don't get me wrong, I hope you have amazing days. But the most important day is your average day, because that's your life. That's our lives. What we do every day is our lives. How we interact with the people around us every day, that's our lives. If you spend a lot of your time interacting with people in a really negative way, maybe you have arguments or bicker a lot, or it's just kind of unpleasant interactions, that's your life. No wonder when you come home from holiday, you're depressed about it and you've got the post-holiday blues, because you're coming back to something that you're not happy with. Take that feeling as a sign. Take that feeling as a sign that your average day needs to be better. So here's some things that you could look at doing to improve your average day, to make sure that the baseline on which your life is set is a high baseline. Something that you're generally and genuinely satisfied with. Firstly, for me, it's always going to come down to health. Physical and mental health. Everything else rests on top of that. If you haven't got your physical health, you can't physically do the things that you may need to do to improve the quality of your average day. or maintain a high quality of average day. And if you don't have your mental health, then you're going to struggle to find the strength and motivation to actually get up and do those things that you may need to do. Those two things are absolutely crucial. And not only do they make you more productive and more effective, which is what I just explained, but even more so than that, just living inside a healthy body that you're happy with, that you're grateful for, that you're proud of, and having a strong, confident, energized mindset, your whole perspective of the world changes. The lens through which you view everything around you is better and more productive. You just personally within yourself feel better. So for me, it's physical and mental health trumps everything. If you want to lift the quality of your average day, start with that. And it might not be easy because oftentimes the things that lower the quality of our average day, things like our work environment, our relationships, maybe some personal issues, all tend to reduce the motivation we might have to go and do the physical exercise that we need to do, or do the work that we need to do on ourselves. So I can understand any man who's in a situation where he knows his physical and mental health needs improving, but is having a hard time focusing on that because of the other areas of his life that aren't working out the way he wants them to. But why I would suggest you do that first is because now it puts you in a better place to go and tackle those things. Whereas when your energy is low, your body's not working correctly, you lack confidence, you lack mental energy, you're going to struggle to change those relationships and work situations and all that sort of stuff that's not going right in your life. When you get yourself right, you get your physical body right and your mind right, you are a much more effective person when you go to tackle those things. So I would start with that. And once you've built up your physical and your mental health, now it's about, okay, let's turn our focus towards those relationships that need improving, or towards that work situation that needs improving. Maybe I need a different job. Maybe I need a career change. Maybe there's some study that I need to do so that I can make that career change happen. If you're in a good place physically and mentally, you're prepared to take on those tasks and those challenges. If you've got a relationship here that's not working, if you don't have confidence in yourself, there's no way that you're going to have the difficult conversation you might need to have with that other person to lead to some kind of change. So again, coming back to you, build that confidence. I believe it can be done through physical and mental training. And once you have that, again, you are now able to have those difficult conversations. You're now able to address it because you're confident within yourself. You feel good about who you are, what you've been able to accomplish with your physical and your mental health. You then don't worry about the fact that what if that relationship falls apart? Or at the very least, maybe it's not that you don't worry about it. Maybe it's just that you accept that that's a possibility, but you know that you can't keep doing what you're doing within that relationship. And you have the confidence to say, hey, look, this could happen, but I refuse to live my life this way anymore. And having that kind of confidence is not easy to come by. There's lots of men that I know who are in positions in their relationships that they're not happy with, but they lack the confidence to change it because they don't know what they would do without that relationship. They have not yet built themselves up to the degree where they feel like they could move on if they had to. That's not obviously the optimal outcome. However, if it's necessary, sometimes it is. You need to be able to continue to move forwards anyway. And building your confidence up is crucial for that. Having the support of like-minded people around you is crucial for that. But if you get yourself to a point where you're in great shape physically and mentally, you have loving, beautiful, supportive, encouraging relationships in your life, and you do a job every single day or 5 days a week, whatever it's going to be for you, that is not necessarily easy. It's not pina coladas on the beach. It's challenging, but it's challenges that encourage growth and improvement within you, and you find meaning and purpose in the work, then the quality of your average day is sky high. And then when you go and have those trips and have those amazing experiences, at the end of that trip, you're already thinking about all the great things you now get to pour your time and energy into when you get home. You get the best of both worlds. So those are the 2 points that I wanted to share with you inside today's episode. The first one is make those memories, boys. Do not wait. You are going to miss your chance eventually if you don't take action. And the second thing is, at the end of the day, our lives are made up by the things that we do on a daily basis. If you want to have a great life, you need to make sure that the average day is great. And the only way to do that is bit by bit, step by step, working on yourself as a man, physically and mentally, and then bringing that new, stronger version of yourself to each of the areas of your life that you know need to be improved. And then at that point, you now get to have the best of both worlds. Those beautiful one-off experiences and just a fantastic foundation on which to lay your life. So, look, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, please click the like button, subscribe, make sure that you don't miss an episode of the podcast. If you have any comments that you'd like to add to that, maybe you have your own philosophy around this, or maybe you have a question around how that could be done. If that's something that you're serious about and you're interested in making the most of your life, you can comment down below with your question. I'd love to hear it, and I'd be more than happy to take the time to answer it the best way I can. All right, with that said, mate, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to speaking to you again on the next episode. Cheers. Hey, mate, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. If you did, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could leave us a 5-star review, because that's going to help us get our message in front of more men who need to hear it. Now, if you have some feedback for me, I'd love to hear that too. Comment down below. And if you just need some mini doses of Unbreakable Man motivation throughout your week, then you can follow us across all social platforms. On Facebook, it's Unbreakable Man Challenge. On Instagram, it's Unbreakable Man_challenge. And on TikTok and YouTube, it's just Unbreakable Man. Your support would be absolutely invaluable. Now, last but not least, do not forget, men aren't born, they're built.